Welcome back to That Handicapping Show at bloodhorse.com. I'm Tom LaMarra, joined by Claire Novak. And That Handicapping Show, sponsored now by racingtoday.com, a new online betting service. And this weekend you'll be able to bet the Arc de Triomphe from Longchamp on Sunday. Novelist undefeated this year, one of the horses in that race. I believe it's a morning post time here on the East Coast or Midwest, wherever you might be. So you can watch and wager on that race at racingtoday.com. Today, stateside, we'll be looking at two races. It wasn't easy to pick which two to do because there's a lot of good races this weekend. We settled on the TCA, Grade 2, the Thoroughbred Club of America, I should say, at Keeneland, for 6 furlongs featuring champion Groupie Doll, and the Indiana Derby, which drew an oversubscribed field, probably have 12 in that at Indiana Downs. Claire, let's start with the Thoroughbred Club of America.
Yes, this is a Breeders' Cup win in your in race for the filly and mare sprint. And you have Groupie Doll, who won it last year and won it easily en route to her champion female sprinter title. This year she's been a little behind. She didn't train well at Gulfstream Park over the winter, and she actually got laid up. She only has 2 starts under her belt. She did come back and win the Presque Isle Masters, but I'll tell you, Tom, looking at that race, which was 6.5 furlongs, and it was tough for her to get that race won. She finally kicked in about the last 16th and did make her move and won by a length and a half over Purely Hot, who also comes back in this race. And Judy the Beauty was 3rd in that race, comes back in here as well. But Groupie Doll definitely needed the Gardenia when she ran 3rd. That was her first start of 2013 to kind of help her get back on track. And I'm not so convinced that this race, which is 6.5 furlongs, is going to be a walkover for her. You have Purely Hot coming back in here, who at 6 furlongs is going to, have a better shot at holding on if she gets the lead. But there's also a horse in here, Gypsy Robin, coming in from the West Coast, and she's won twice, 2 stakes at Keeneland. She won the Beaumont and the Raven Run. Now, both of those were 7 furlongs, but she won by open lengths. So this is a really great race with a lot of talented fillies in here, and even the other 2 that I didn't mention, are nice fillies. And I'm going to settle probably, I think, on actually Gypsy Robin. But Gypsy Robin, Groupie Doll, and Purely Hot are the 3 that I would consider in here. Yeah,
Gypsy Robin is 3 for 3 at Keeneland, and she won the Raven Run at Keeneland last October. That's a 7 furlong race. Judy the Beauty is another horse. She hasn't seemed to be able to get there as often as we would think. She drew the rail. Purely Hot has the 2-hole. Purely Hot is primarily a speed type mare. Gypsy Robin outside of her. Groupie Doll drew the outside post, the 6, which I think is perfect in this race. And I do agree with you that it's a pretty good field. Things happen, but Groupie Doll is my pick because I think her
class,
the fact that she won that race in track record time at Presque Isle Downs would indicate that the horses really weren't struggling in the stretch. The race just went extremely fast. So, Indiana Derby, 1.16 miles, which means we have a couple horses cutting back from like 1.1 miles. This is a Grade 2 race on the dirt. Full field of 12. There's also 3 also eligible. So my guess is if somebody scratches, 1 may get in. Heavy favorite in this race figures to be Power Broker, who ships in from California for Bob Baffert. Pretty good second in the Haskell, considering the fact that Verrazano was a runaway, won by almost 10 lengths. This is a good distance for Power Broker. He races extremely well on the dirt, and I'll be curious to see how the race shapes up. Power Broker can run on the lead if necessary, but he can also rate. I looked at this race, and it's kind of hard to get a handle on exactly how the pace scenario may unfold.
Oh, I'm glad I'm not the only one.
Yeah, a lot of horses in here who could end up challenging up front, but then again, they prefer to race from off the pace. How do you see it shaping up?
Well, I like a couple of horses in here, but I think, just to go against Power Broker to try to figure out if somebody else could beat him, he will be a prohibitive favorite and probably will win. I like Ruler of Love, who's been second to Departing twice. Again, you mentioned the cutback in distance. In the Super Derby, he actually had the lead after bobbling at the start and then just got passed by Departing, who drew off to win by 4. Same type of scenario in the West Virginia Derby, you know, and I think he's a pretty good horse. I'm interested to see what the cutback will do for him in distance. He hasn't won for quite a while, but that's one that I would look at. A couple others that I like, For Dubai. He actually won the Straight Line Stakes at Arlington, going a mile on the poly track. I don't know. This horse, I thought he was good leading into the Illinois Derby when he did run okay in there, again, second to Departing. So I'm not using Departing as like the end-all be-all for anything. I think there's a couple in here like Uncaptured. I'd be interested to see how he handles this track. But I don't know. Like you said, it's a little bit of a tough race to get a handle on for me. And frankly, I'm not that familiar with how Indiana Downs plays. And other than just going with the favorite, which I don't want to do, I think it's a pretty hard race to figure out between the others.
All right, I think this is a good spot for Power Broker. He also has one on off track, so should there be a storm in the area for whatever reason, you never know. He can handle fast or off track. There are a couple stretch out horses in here. Take It Like a Man, who is a sprinter, will try the mile and 16th for the first time, but not 2 turns. He won a $400,000 race around 2 turns at 7 furlongs at Charlestown very impressively, and is moving into Graded Stakes Company. So it should be a good race. Lots of action this weekend, and we thank Brisnet.com for the past performances. For Claire, I'm Tom. We'll see you next time on That Handicapping Show.